troubling what happened out of Washington State. Arlene's Flowers has lost their case before the state of Washington Supreme Court. It's now being appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court. The case of Arlene's Flowers is this. Barronelle Stutzman is a Christian woman. This is an elderly, I don't know if she's really elderly now. I think she's in her 60s or so it's probably not fair to call her elderly. I'm 56. Pretty soon I'm going to be elderly. Feel like it already sometimes. But anyway, this is a Christian woman who is a florist, and she had as regular customers, these gay guys that would come in. Now, openly homosexual. She knew they were homosexual, and she served them regularly for years as regular customers. Happy to serve them, no problem at all. They come in, they give flowers, all of that stuff. Well, anyway, they decided to get quote-unquote married. So they came to her and said, we not only want to buy the flowers from you, we want you to use your skills and talents to artistically design and arrange the flowers for our gay wedding. Well, that's when she said, well, my conscience won't allow me to do that, because now it's actually participating in the event, and I'm happy to serve you as customers. I'll sell you the flowers. They were like, no, we want you to arrange them, to design them and arrange the floral design. She's like, well, I can't do that. So then she offered them other people that will gladly do it. She said, here's my competitors, and they will be happy to do this for you. But they said, no, we demand that you do it. Well, so she said, no, you're forcing me to violate my religious beliefs. I have to say no. Now, they had the opportunity to get this done, folks. But they demanded that she be the one to do it. So they sued her. And this worked its way up through the court system, and it went all the way to the Supreme Court of the state of Washington. And the state of Washington just ruled against her and in favor of the gay couple, and basically ruled that she was, quote, discriminating against people. And then on top of this, actually argued that she can also be, quote, personally liable for this, which means that they can now seek personal damages against her. And here's what I want you folks to understand about this. I mean, you talk about mean-spirited and hateful. This gay couple were regular customers of hers that she would gladly sell to for years, no problem. And then they turn on her in this way because they're going to force her to do it. And then the Supreme Court of the state of Washington sides with the gay couple against her. So now she's going to be financially destroyed. This is being appealed now to the U.S. Supreme Court. What's going to happen at the Supreme Court, folks? I don't know. Got to get Neil Gorsuch on the Supreme Court, because right now it's, what, 4-4, as they say, and even then it's not a solid 4-4, because I think it's probably safe to say that the 4 liberals on the court would absolutely side against the Christian lady. Now the question is, would the 4 conservatives, wink wink conservatives, would they actually side for her? Even if they did, it'd be a 4-4 tie, a stalemate, which means the lower court ruling ends up standing up, and so she would lose anyway. Her only chance is to wait until Neil Gorsuch is on the Supreme Court. Then this is taken to the U.S. Supreme Court, and then you have to hope and pray that Anthony Kennedy gets up on the conservative side of the bed and not the liberal side. Because I want to remind you folks, the reason we're a gay marriage nation in this country was it was a 5-4 decision. Anthony Kennedy that day decided to side with the 4 liberals on the Supreme Court and order all 50 states to be gay marriage states. So this is really a sad day, because even with Neil Gorsuch on the Supreme Court, there's a very good chance that Anthony Kennedy would side with the liberals. But what this means in this country, folks, is that Christians no longer have the ability, the right, the constitutional right to not be forced to violate their beliefs, that you have to be forced to use your skills and talents in a way that violates your beliefs. Now, folks, we're not talking about discriminating and refusing service to someone, because she didn't refuse service to these folks. She never refused them service. She would gladly sell them her flowers and everything else. But you got to know that this opens up a whole can of worms as far as the double standard at play, because I've talked about this before and I think it bears repeating. Does anyone out there think that a Muslim deli should be required to cater a pig roast? Does anybody think Muslim deli should be forced to do that? Of course not. How about a Muslim print shop? Does anybody believe that a Muslim print shop or a Muslim web designer should be forced to have to design and create an anti-Muhammad website? Now, here's what we want: a website with satirical pictures of Muhammad, and we want posters with satirical images of Muhammad. Well, for Muslims, it's a violation of their belief to even create any images of Muhammad, let alone satirical and mocking. Does anybody think that a Muslim print shop owner should be forced to do that against their will? That would be, number one, it would be morally and ethically wrong to tell them, no, I want you to be the one to design this website. And then he says, I'm sorry, I can't do that. That violates my beliefs. I'll be happy to serve you as a customer. You're a Christian and I'm a Muslim, and I'll be happy to design websites for you, but please don't ask me to design an image of Muhammad, because I can't do that. I can't mock Muhammad in this. Okay, first of all, any quote-unquote Christian who tried to force that on that Muslim, I would say that Christian's not being Christ-like and they're being wrong in the first place. But if that Muslim said, here's my competition and you can gladly go there and they'll do it for you, can you imagine a Christian going, no, I demand that you do it, and if you don't do it, I'm taking you through the court system and going to financially destroy you? Well, folks, you got to understand, okay? This is the inconsistency at play, because for the Washington Supreme Court to rule that this Christian baker, who's been serving this gay couple for years and selling them flowers happily as customers, that when they demand, no, we want you to design and create the floral arrangement for our gay wedding, and you can't opt out of that, and it doesn't matter that you supply us with your competition who will gladly do the job. No, we demand that you be the one to do it. How could the courts rule against her in this case? Well, they have. They have. And it's a scary time in this country for Christians and their religious liberties. But I encourage you to keep this lady, Barronelle Stutzman, in your prayers, Arlene's Flowers, and other Christians around the country that are facing this kind of discrimination. And it is discrimination against Christians, folks. All right, you're listening to The Bob Dutko Show.